ready to start working with the delete functionality, and we're going to start working with the delete, then we'll do the edit. So we're gonna start back here inside of the page for the individual member. So in here, we're going to work with a form and a form action, which is going to be executed on the server. So we're going to mark our function as a server action in this video. So in here, we're going to go right under the, so this is when we click on one of these members. So this is the component that we're looking at now. So right under the last div, where we display this here, we're going to create a new div. And we're going to have two forms. So the first form here will be for a button that is going to say edit. And then the second form will be for a button that will say delete. All right, so we see that here. So let me put some space here so we can see it. Next, let's just add some colors here to the div so we can see this a little bit better, and a little bit of styling. So to the div here, we're gonna say flex. We're gonna add a gap of 2, and we're going to say justify n, so we can push it to the right. Let's also add a padding of 5 or something similar. To the form, that's fine. Let's just add a class name to the button. This one we're gonna do bg-yellow -300. We're gonna say a padding of 3 and round it. For the delete, class name bg- I said red-500, and then we're gonna do same padding of 3 and round it as well. Cool. We're gonna keep it there for that. For the styling, we can do a few more for the text, but that's fine for now. So now we want to be able to delete a member when we click on the delete button. So here we're going to just keep it simple, allow any user or our users to delete any information here, just to keep it simple. So in here, after the, we can put it after the if statement here to make sure we have a member, we return there. So in here, we're going to declare a server action. So we're going to say async function delete member, and this will accept a ID of type object ID, and that is going to come in from MongoDB, and I think we do have it imported here. Next here, we're going to mark this function as a server action. So we're going to use the use server directive, so it can be executed on the server. And then we're going to say await DB client. We're going to use the .db. Again, the DB is next-members dot collection, the collection of members. And then we're going to use the find one and delete. And to the find one and delete, we're going to pass in a filter. We're going to say we want to match a underscore ID to, we're going to use the new object ID to pass in props.params.id, just like we fetch a single member by the ID as well. And then we're going to, after that, we can just redirect. So we're going to import redirect in here from Next navigation. We're going to say let's say comma here, redirect. And back here, we're just gonna say, after we delete it, let's just redirect the user to /members. So basically this is, if I refactor this real quick, that looks better. This is our action. And if we grab this new function that we created and we scroll down to the form here, to the delete one, we're going to pass it to the action property here, and we're going to pass in the delete member. As soon as we do that, we're going to get an error saying that the ID is not assignable, undefined, and this is because we're passing some data to this function here. And it is expecting an ID, so we need to be able to call this delete member passing a ID at the moment. So we can pass additional arguments to this action that we created here by calling the .bind method from JavaScript. And then here, as the first argument to bind, we're going to pass in no, and then we're going to pass in our params.id in order to pass a additional data to the form here, or to the form action. So we're going to say member.id, or we could, let's see, member._id, because we already have the member here. Or we could also do the new object ID and pass in the ID, but we already have that inside of member ID, because here we find the ID of the member that we're looking at the moment. So we can just pass in the member.id we want to delete. We already have that there. So every time we need to pass in additional information to a action or server action, we need to call the bind function, pass in no as the first argument, because we're not making any use of another object. We just want to pass in additional arguments to this function. So now that that's there, we can go and test this out. Let's just create a new member really quick. Or let's just test with Mike here. Let's go with Mike, which is the last one that we created. Let's refresh this page. Click on Mike and click on delete. All right, so now we were redirected back to /members, and the member Mike is no longer there. If we take a look at the database and we refresh, depending on how many you created, right now I only have 4. Anna, Max, and Jim, and Maria. And Anna, Max, Jim, and Maria are here as well. So that's pretty much it for deleting a resource, or in this case, a member for this application. In the next video, we're going to look at how to edit the information for each one of these members. So I'll see you there.